In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, may peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين. Today I will be addressing a very specific topic about our youth in particular and the rest of the Ummah in general. And the topic I will be addressing today is identity crisis. The Muslim Ummah in general and our youth in particular has never faced identity crisis on this level. The Muslim youngsters around the world are going through an identity crisis. I will explain what I mean by that. So let me highlight the problem first, then we will talk about the solutions, inshallah. The problem of our youth today is they are confused. Confused about what? They are confused as to why they are Muslims. And because they don't fully understand why they are Muslim, they end up following people they are not supposed to be following. And with the rise of social media, with TikTok, with Snapchat, with Facebook, with Instagram, those who are elderly, because Instagram has now become an elderly application, youngsters have moved on to the more sophisticated things. They are creating more sophisticated content and they have become more sophisticated in that. So I'm talking to TikTokers and Snapchatters and Instagrammers, these people, because the inspiration is coming through these platforms, right? So they have created heroes for themselves. Obviously, when the wind blows, it touches everyone. So globally, we have a phenomenon, and that phenomenon is social media. And fitna has risen in this day and age like never before. There are too many temptations and digressions for us to fall into neglecting our true identity altogether and putting it aside completely in some cases. Right? So what am I talking about? Who are our youth following today? And how do we know that our youth are following these people? They are following rap artists, football players, cricket players, right? Singers, cheap Instagram models and actors, right? And gangsters, right? These people. And how do I know that our youth are following these people? Because when I see the youth on the street or even in the social media, they are acting like these people, right? And this has been the problem since I was under 22, because I was a victim myself of this kind of thinking. I used to think that it's cool to be a gangster, right? It's cool to be a gangster. And I used to follow Bollywood actors, right? Those who act like gangster. And I like them so much. And I used to think that I am him. But I was wrong when I realized as to true purpose of my life. Now youngsters are finding new rappers, new models, new content. And even though some of our Muslim brothers who might come to the mosque, but when they go out, they listen to these people. This is where the real inspiration is coming from, because they behave like them, they act like them, right? They even treat their parents as if those parents are from the street. Some of our brothers, they go home and they have no idea who they are talking to. So counter all of this powerful rhetoric, you become what you love. And how do we know that what you love? Because you become what you love. When you start to look like someone, when you start to talk like someone, when you start to live like someone, when you start to act like someone, then you are that someone. Right? The Prophet ﷺ said, Man tashabbahu biqawmin fahuwa minhum. If you imitate a people, then you are them. Right? So you need to overcome it. This is the big problem for our youth. Imitation of people that they should not be imitated. You go to some of these youngsters' room, you see the posters on the wall. When you speak to them today and you ask them about Ronaldo, right? How many girlfriends he had, how much money he makes, and I can guarantee you that over 90% of our youth would know curriculum about him. This is the problem we are facing, such an onslaught, fitna, and digressions and distractions that it is impossible for our youth to avoid these things. That's why we need to working harder on our youth to strengthen their identity as Muslims, because they have found heroes elsewhere. And on the daily basis, from the day our children are born, they are being bombarded with cultural influences. They are being influenced, molded into thinking in a way that is not the actual identity. And nowadays, the birthday celebration has become a very common fashion among the Muslim youngsters. They are celebrating happy birthday. They are wishing happy birthday to each other, right? And they feel that they will become modern while they are celebrating birthday with their friends, right? And if we ask them to elaborate where did the birthday originated from, and I can guarantee you they will never be able to explain. They are absolutely ignorant about these things. They are following blindly without scrutinizing it, right? Or rather, they have got brainwashed by looking at others. So let me elaborate you very quickly. The birthday celebration is absolutely an Islamic culture, or rather, it is a pagan culture. In the time of Greeks, right, they used to worship the moon god by making honey cake, and they used to put candle on it, right, in order to worship the moon, right? And unfortunately, we have adopted the very same culture, and we have become part of that culture, right? Which is completely haram in Islam, which is absolutely forbidden in Islam, right? When the child grew up a little bit more, they shift to something else, right? Like watching crime movies, right? Playing unfortunate games like Free Fire and PUBG, right? And what they are learning in that? Violence, right? So they start getting inspiration from these criminals who are being glorified in the movie, right? So this rap music, you may be listening to my brother. So this is the problem I'm highlighting first, then we will talk about the solutions inshallah very soon. So this rap music you may be listening to my brother is evil. The content is evil. What are these rappers doing? They are radicalizing you. They are radicalizing you in a way you cannot imagine. They are glorifying drug dealing. They are glorifying disrespecting women. They are glorifying evil violence, evil behavior, evil language, right? Using F word is now cool. When you talk with your friend, you keep using that word. And you sound like a gangster, you sound like a bad boy, right? But there is nothing right about it. And this is what you are thinking, that there is nothing bad about it. It's our normal behavior, right? So my brothers, think about these influences. Then they are making movies about these gangsters, drug dealers, drug suppliers, drug barons, right? So when you start watching movies like this, where are you going to go away with? Think about it. And there are documentaries on these things. There are academic works, how these things actually influence people and their mental state of being. These programs, they actually influence you. And because there is not enough Islamic content for our youth, they will fall victim to this onslaught, social, cultural onslaught, which is evil and to say the least barbaric. Therefore, you see the youngsters fighting each other because they think they are gangsters, right? But they are not. They are wasting their lives. They will eventually die either by stabbing or by smoking drugs, because this stuff actually damages your brain. When you consume drug, it kills your brain cells. Desensitization take place, escalation take place. When you consume drug, your thinking capacity become highly affected. Those who do substance abuse, those who smoke weed, or those who smoke skunk, or those who sniff cocaine or consume heroin, if you are that unfortunate, you become dumb. Wallahi, you become dumb. You are no longer human. You are like a zombie, right? And you don't know what's going on around you. You lose any sense of responsibility. And eventually you become a wasted man. This is because of the influences we are being fed with. Through music, through football culture, through boxing, through cheap Instagram models, through unfortunate games like Free Fire and PUBG. What are you being fed with? There is nothing positive about these things. Instead of thinking books, decent behavior, decent dress code, but we are thinking in a way to look cool, right? But there is nothing cool about it in this way. This is the big problem our youth. This is the danger our youth facing. This is one of the biggest problem, identity crisis. Because they don't know anything about their Muslim heroes. They don't have any heroes to follow. They don't have any Muslim heroes to look up to. They have been given Spider-Man, Superman, Iron Man, right? Music artists, football players, right? And unfortunate games like Free Fire, PUBG, right? This is what they look up to. Therefore, they are not aware of Khalid bin Walid. They are not aware of Imam Bukhari. They are not aware of Ibn Hajar. They are not aware of Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, right? They are not aware of Ibn Haytham. He was the inventor of camera, right? They are not aware of Ibn Sina. He was the father of medicine. He wrote chunky volumes on medicine. They are not aware of Al-Kindi. He was the father of philosophy, right? They are not aware of Jabir ibn Hayyan, right? He was the father of chemistry. They are not aware of Al-Biruni. He measured the circumference of the earth, right? They are not aware of Al-Batani, right? He was the great Muslim astronomer. They are not aware of Ibn Nafis, right? He discovered the blood circulation system in human body. They are not aware of these people with big names, with big legacies, with big character, with big achievements. They are not aware of these people. And the reason is because people nowadays, when they study, they think of their stomach, how they feel about stomach, right? To put it in crude terms. And unfortunately, some of them have no idea as to why they are studying. Why? Have we ever asked this question to ourselves? Why do we study? Why do we go to the universities? What are we doing in the institution? Let me give you an analogy to make you understand. Once there was a man who told his neighbor that your dog always chases cars and vehicles. I wonder, will your dog ever catch up with any car? The neighbor replied, I don't wonder whether he'll catch up or not. I wonder if my dog catches up with a car, what will he do? Right? And unfortunately, many of us, we are living our life in the same way. Just like the dog. Right? People who are doing graduation, if you ask them, why are you doing graduation? Right? And they don't know the reason. Right? Just because they want to be graduate. And if you ask them, what will you do after you finish your graduation? So they'll say, I haven't thought of it yet. Right? And unfortunately, we are living our life just like the dog who's chasing cars absolutely without a purpose. And we copy goals of others without scrutinizing it. If we ask a student, why are you doing commerce or why are you doing science? So they'll tell you that because my friend is doing commerce, right? Or science. So many people, they emulate and they copy goals of others. That there may be some exceptions are there, people who are intelligent, who are wise, right? Who have been advised as to true purpose of education, and they will tell you, no, we are studying for intellectual stimulation, right? We are to learn to enrich with knowledge, right? So that we become wiser, so that we become better people, so that we are a source of making this planet a better place. And that is the true purpose of education, right? So let me get crux to the matter. So I'm going to rush to the solutions now. Why am I telling you all these things? Because we need to introduce our youth to an alternative culture. We need to introduce them to our civilization, our heroes from the Prophet ﷺ downwards. Our Muslim youngsters need to know that they cannot love anyone more than the Prophet ﷺ. However you may like someone's rap music, however you may like someone's performance in the football match, however you may like someone's performance in the boxing match, you cannot love that person more than the Prophet ﷺ. To an extent, you start to imitate them and you start to behave like them and look like them. Instead, rather, you need to turn back and look at yourself in the mirror and ask the question to yourself, who am I? And where am I? And why am I? These are the questions you need to ask. Who made me? Why I was sent on this planet? Did I choose my hair color? Did I choose my skin color? Did I choose my parents? If not, then what is the purpose of my life? Was I born to dance on Instagram Reel? Was I born to be a fan of someone who does not even know who I am? Was I born to pull girls and have haram relationship with them? While I have to do things while I have the option to do things halal ways? Why? Was I born to waste my time on PUBG? Why? Is this who I am? Is this the purpose of my life? Is this what I represent? Or do I represent a greater reality of Islam and the heroes of Islam? So my brothers, these are the questions you need to ask yourself. And I will give you some of these names. You can never be richer than these people. I'll give you names. Bill Gates, right? Big names. Billions of dollars, right? The man couldn't even hold his own wife. She left him, right? And I was watching a documentary on this guy, Tesla, right? What's his name? Elon Musk, right? I was watching a documentary about him. One of the richest men in the world, right? Very advanced in technology. One of the most depressed people in the world. And when you watch him talk, he doesn't look happy. There is nothing happy about the person. And I can give you the examples of these superstars, people with a lot of music and a lot of money and a lot of fame. Justin Bieber, right? I was watching a documentary about him. And I would like to watch documentary so that I can talk to the youth about these people. Do you look inside these people? Do you know what they're going through? Do you know how much depression they are facing? Can you have more money than him? Can you have more famous than him? Possibly by being fan of these superstars and behaving like them and listening to raps. Can you be like them actually? And the reality is no. You can never be like them. And they are some of the most depressed people in the world. And before some times ago, you may have heard that before, that Justin Bieber has got the victim of paralysis. And before some times ago, he was making mockumentaries against Islam by wearing the headscarf, right? And he think that he had become too big, right? He was challenging a law, right? And eventually he got what he wanted, right? When you watch him talk after getting paralysis, you think, Subhanallah, these are the signs of Allah. Look at these people. They have nothing. They have everything, right? But they have nothing. Ala bi zikrillah tatma'inul qulub. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts find peace. You keep running after money, after women, after power, after seed, after influence, after fame, whatever it is. You will not gonna find peace in that. I can guarantee you. And your end will be eventually something very bad. If this is what you spend your life doing, precious few years of your life, precious few years of your life, you will not gonna get anything. You will not be happy. There is only one way to happiness, and that is the peace of soul. Turn to Allah, and Allah will show you how happy you can become Even though you may live in a hut, you may be sleeping on the floor, but the peace you are looking for is not going to be in that swimming pool or in that club or in that music you may be listening to. You will not going to find peace in that. I can guarantee you, peace is with Allah alone. And this is why you see a lot of these superstars, so-called, those of them who are fortunate, they turn to Allah and they found peace with Allah. So many names I can give you. Yusuf Islam, Cat Steven, he was big, very big, but Allah guided him and he found peace with Allah. There was this Irish woman, very famous singer. She accepted Islam and she said she wouldn't give up Islam for anything after experiencing it. Peace is with Allah alone. And the final point of mine before I finish, your identity is Islam. Your heroes are Muslim heroes, right? Read about them, go and read history about them, go and search the people I mentioned, and you will see that there are heroes of Islam in Arabia, there are heroes of Islam in Africa, there are heroes of Islam in India, there are heroes of Islam in Western Europe, people who served Islam and they left men behind, so that we remember them to this day. Anyone who gave his life to Allah and His Messenger, Allah will give him izzah, respectful person among the people. Right? Allah will give him peace and happiness. And anyone who turned away from Allah and His Messenger and found peace elsewhere or looking for peace elsewhere will not going to find peace elsewhere. I can guarantee you. So your identity, who are you, is the question. Are you a Muslim? If you are a Muslim, then Allah is your Lord and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is your leader. And you have to follow them. And this is the condition of Iman for you to love him. The hadith I narrated in the beginning, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين. You will not become believer. O Muslim youth, listen to me carefully what I'm saying. You will not become believer until the Messenger of Allah become more beloved to you than your parents, than your children, and all of mankind put together. All of your assumed self-imposed heroes put together, they can never match the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are a true believer, and you need to ask this question to yourself, are you a true believer? Are you Muslim? Do you stand for Islam? Do you want to be a hero of Islam? Then follow those who came before you and read about them and produce content about them instead of dancing on Instagram reel and saying stupid things and making jokes and making stupid videos. So stop this evil practice. Right? Stop this evil practice and start talking about some serious personality and introduce them to the Muslim Ummah so that actually you can inspire people by using examples. Right? Wallahi, I want you to talk so much some of these heroes of Islam so that actually you can follow them. Right? And amazingly, I don't know why this rap music and these movies that glorify violence and killing and use of knife and guns, right? I don't know why this kind of radicalization allowed. You know how it radicalizes you? Because it's make you behave in that way. That's why you see so much violence in the world. That's why you see so many stabbings in the world. Because of this evil music. Because it's inspiring the youth. It is making them do things. So this kind of radicalization is allowed, right? It is going on. No one is stopping it, right? And the open secret is because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? So my brothers, think about it. This is why you have to be warned, right? That don't fall for that radicalization because Muslim youth are being more affected by it than anyone else. Let me say that one more time. Because Muslim youth are being more affected by it than anyone else. Right? This is why I keep mentioning it. You are a Muslim. You are a Muslim. A Muslim is who? What is the best of Islam? Allah says in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلُ الصَّالِحُونَ قَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. That who is better speech than one who invites to the way of thy Lord and work righteousness and says that I am a Muslim. And on that note, I will stop. Jazakallahu khairan for listening. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.